Hey guys, so I've been meaning to make this video for a really long time, but I forgot about it until a creationist reminded me the other day. I'll get to it. It's a challenge to creationists, but before I get to that, let me just explain the background. So a creationist messaged me and said that scientists haven't been able to explain the handedness of amino acids. They're all left-handed amino acids. There are no right-handed amino acids in the human body. He says, aha, scientists haven't been able to explain this, evolution's not real. So in 2 minutes, I found him a paper published in Nature, which of course is a journal that is second to none in biology. It's the best journal, right, in biology. And it's about how enzymes can select for a certain handedness in amino acids because they are very specific in their binding of substrates. They're like a lock and key. Not that simple. There's a debunked model called lock and key model. It's a little bit more sophisticated than that. It's induced fit is a better hypothesis. Anyway, point is they fit very tightly, right? Very, very tightly. So if that handedness isn't fitting into that enzyme, right, a very, very early enzyme in evolution, it won't get used, which means that it gets selected out, right? It's like with evolution, right? So that explains handedness very well. So I gave him the paper, and his response was, "You're a liar! That paper's a lie!" Right? Because he doesn't understand in any detail how enzymes work. He doesn't understand any experiments that that paper did that I showed him, right? But he's so ingrained in his mentality that he can only say that what I told him was a lie because he can't accept that he doesn't know what's going on, right? So, and at this point, any rational person would be like, I'm done with you, right? To the creationists, right? But not me. If you know me, if you're a troll and you're watching this, there are a few trolls on my channel. You know that I don't just let trolls walk all over my channel. So I responded, okay, you think that's a lie? Well, let me tell you something. That's what I told the creationists. In medical school, they constantly teach about evolution. In every single medical school in the United States, they always teach about evolution. Every single one, every single medical school in the United States, right? For example, I learned in my class, my anatomy class, that we have this nerve called the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Basically, recurrent means it goes back. It starts, over here, let's say, goes down, loops around our aorta, and goes to our larynx. Recurrent laryngeal nerve, right? Goes back up to our larynx, right? And basically, it loops around, right? Well, in giraffes, it also loops around. But you have to realize that their larynx is very far away from their aorta, where it loops. So it has to travel very far, loops around, and then goes back up, right? Now that doesn't make any sense logically, but it makes sense if you accept evolution, right? This is something I learned in my class. That's why I'm explaining it. So basically, my teachers are teaching us lies in medical school, right? So every medical school does this. Every medical school, according to you, teaches lies, right? So why would you believe anything that a doctor tells you? You can't, right? If they're lying about one thing, so tens of thousands of scientists, tens of thousands of doctors are lying about one thing, right? Every book says that the appendix is as a result of evolution. It's vestigial, right? So if every single university is lying, how can you trust anything that they're saying? They're getting away with it. They're teaching this. They're making money out of this. They're getting away with this. So how can you trust anything else that they're saying, right? You can't, right? Now another thing is it doesn't have to be directly related to evolution, because some things are indirectly related to evolution, and they could be a lie. You don't know what that is because you don't have an expertise. You're a creationist. You don't have an expertise in biology. Otherwise, you believe in evolution, right? Here's an example I'll give you of how things are indirectly related to evolution and could be lies, right? There's this really interesting problem in abiogenesis of what came first, the protein or the DNA, because you need DNA to make protein and you need protein to make DNA, right? So it's a chicken or the egg problem. Well, scientists said that there's something in the middle called RNA. It can store information like DNA, and it can act as a catalyst like proteins, right? It can do both, a little bit of both, right? And so that means that RNA is probably came first and gave rise to DNA and protein, which specialized in just one or the other, right? Now, what's really interesting is they found in the structure of a ribosome. Ribosome makes proteins. It's an enzyme that makes protein. That the core of the enzyme that works, right, is actually 100% RNA, right? So it fits perfectly with this theory that RNA came first. Now, if you're a creationist, you got to be thinking, well, wait a minute. That's a coincidence, isn't it? They lied about evolution. They've been getting away with it for 150 years. Now, all of a sudden, they got something that fits perfectly with it, right? So maybe they're lying about the structure of the ribosome. Now, figuring out the structure has nothing directly to do with evolution, right? It's just figuring out the structure of the ribosome. It just happened to fit with what evolution said, right? So it's indirectly related. But maybe they lied about it, right? They lied about the structures. People actually got a Nobel Prize for figuring out the structure of the ribosome, right? And they're highly respected in the scientific community. So they're likely liars, right? According to you, the creationists. So how can you believe anything that they're saying? You can't, right? Even stuff that don't necessarily seem like they have anything directly to do with evolution happen to fit with evolution. Well, that's a coincidence. So you can't believe that stuff. So here's my challenge to creationists. Since medical schools, every single medical school teaches evolution, never ever go to a doctor. Never ever listen to what a doctor has to say. If your doctor tells you to do something, say no. If you're in a hospital, tell them you want to leave. There's no way you should take help from these people who you know learn from lies. You know this, right? So why do you listen to them? It's hypocritical. So if you are principled, you will never, ever go to a doctor. So in my comment section below, any creationist, I welcome that you write the creationist challenge, like the blasphemy challenge, let's say. You should write, I swear to God, because that's what you most highly regard, that I will never go to a doctor and I will never seek a doctor's advice. I will also never take any drugs created by the pharmaceutical industry, because all scientists in the pharmaceutical industry, they read these biochemistry textbooks which talk about evolution, right? Every single one. So you should never take drugs from pharmaceutical companies. You should never go to a doctor, and that's my challenge. If you guys can do it, you guys are consistent. You guys have principles. If you can't do it, you're unprincipled. You guys are hypocrites. Take it easy.